Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Arsenal 2, Everton 1. The season is done. We can all breathe. But I'm still gutted that we lost the game so late with a mistake turning into a handball. But we will get into that. But the season is done. Yesterday was all we could have hoped for. A few weeks ago was a game that didn't mean anything, and Everton finished. To us, yeah, of course. But how are you feeling? The season is over. It was yesterday, and
yeah,
big,
and we had a few weeks to decompress, as they now say. So yeah, all the troubles and everything seems a long time ago. And obviously looking at the table, you know, the Burnley game, essentially, we've been safe since, which is crazy, isn't it? When you think back and think about, but you know, the 3 victories in a week at home, but that's how football sometimes works out, isn't it? And obviously, the further you'll get away from trouble, the less pressure, the more chance you've got of winning games, and that creates pressure for other people. And so, yeah, it's been, you know, couple of weeks since the Sheffield United game going back to what game was it? I'm completely
is that what you saw?
The one at Brentford. The one Brentford game. It's a few weeks now since the Brentford game, isn't it? So you think that was the day we were safe, and that seems so long ago now. And obviously we've played Luton and we've played Sheffield United and we played Arsenal. So yesterday I think was just about going out, fulfilling the game, doing the best we could and showing some professionalism, and everyone went out and done a good job. And yeah, it was sad that we finished on a defeat because I don't feel like we deserved that. But it is what it is, and now we have to look ahead and see what we can do over the summer, which will be terrifying.
The team pretty much what I expected it to be. There's that thing of, will we use this to blood a couple of the younger players and give them a go and all that? But Arsenal away is a tough fixture. The manager went with the strongest team that he could put out there. And Everton, you know what, Everton set the stall out early on, made sure they got a good shape about them, and limited Arsenal to certainly the opening 20 minutes. They had one good opportunity, which Jordan Pickford made a good save from. Martinelli, I think it was a full stretch. They had another hairy moment when Jared Brandtway tried to pass it across his box, but Tarkowski got a brilliant challenge, and then Coleman cleared the lines. And other than that, considering what a top side Arsenal are, and he can cut you to ribbons, thought Everton did defend really well and were nice and solid, and carried a little bit of a threat on the counter-attack as well.
Yeah, I think it showed the attitude of the players and what the players have been working on all season. They kept on trying to do that ball inside Brandtwaite and Ashley Young, didn't they? And it did come off a few times. But we stood up to it, and obviously some really good last-ditch, you know, defending, as we're normally used to. And as you mentioned, Jordan Pickford making a good save. But I thought we did carry a threat on the break, and there was a few times where they'd obviously pushed loads of men forward, and well, I think what we did is we kept the ball really well in the early moments of breaking. So when the press came, we could get round it, and then we were at the back four then on a couple of plays in the back four, and I thought we did that well on a few times. And obviously we didn't exploit it as many times as we could have, but obviously the Dwight McNeil one that led to the goal was a good one, and obviously Domit in the post as well. And we just showed that we weren't going to go there. I think that was the most important thing. We didn't, once we got past like the first 5 minutes, we showed that we were there to have a go, and we weren't there just to make up the numbers and they were going to steamroll us. And I think that's massively important. I think that shows the culture of what it is now. And, you know, listen, I've been very critical of Sean Dyche at times this season, but I do really think that culture of saying to players, you know, one game isn't any more important than another is really important, because you carry that consistency then of knowing what you want to do and what you're instilling in people, and it's the right attitude. Of course it is. Yesterday, team could have gone there and just rolled over. We've done it loads of times, and you haven't really given much thought to the game. But number one, if you bed down the fundamentals into the team, then that takes care of itself in the first place, and you have the right characters. But I really thought once we got through that first 5 minutes, and the atmosphere at the ground itself was interesting because it changed quite quickly. It was like us against United when Garnacho scored. It was just like a lead balloon. Yeah. Once it got through to the ground that Man City were winning, the atmosphere at the beginning was brilliant. It was the pyrotechnics, pyro going off, fireworks from the roof. It was amazing. They were properly up for it, as you would be. There was real belief in the stadium, even if it was partly manufactured belief. But you've got to have that. As soon as Manchester City scored, the air just went out of the stadium completely, and that that allows for some interesting songs and stuff from the Everton fans, as you'd imagine. And I think we capitalised on that, and we got into the game, and I think that it was good to see. It was good to see us going there and having the right goal.
I think the manager touched on it in his press conference. Can't remember if it was the main one or the Everton one, whereas we still, at times, we break really well, and then the final pass or the final decision's poor. Yeah. And we did it yesterday.
There's a lot of that yesterday.
Loads of times we had a break because we had broke the press and we hold on to the ball too long or play the wrong pass. But we did carry the threat, and you just touched on it there. Dominic Calvert-Lewin hit the post. We'd had a free kick on the edge of the box after I think it was Guy was fouled, and Dom took the free kick.
Yeah, hit the wall.
Which hit the wall. And then we had the breakaway again, and it was a good little move actually. And he hits the post and looks like he's wheeling away to celebrate. Yeah. And comes back to, and he hits it again, and he beats Raya, but it goes into the side net. And then they were a bit wary of that. And then of course we do have the run, which by McNeil, which leads to the free kick, and Idrissa Gana Gueye's been hiding that deliberate deflection off the Declan Rice face into the far corner in his locker.
Can't coach that.
No, it's uncoachable. Learned at PSG. But Everton took the lead, and just adding to their anxiousness on the day. Yeah. The free kick, like I say, deliberately placed off Rice's face and into the far corner, and the Evertonians were in raptures as we took the lead, and it was good to see that we hadn't gone there, because I'll be honest, I did sort of look at it and think they need to win. They've got to win the game. It's all on them. We're going there. It's a hot day. We've been here before in this position, and we've got nothing after such a difficult season for the manager and the players and supporters. There's nothing on it for us. So is our intensity level gonna be nowhere near theirs? And we know that these have scored a lot of goals. So I was thinking this could be 3 or 4-0 if they get off to the right start. But once we got through that first 10 minutes, it was just what you'd have to be wary of with Arsenal. But Everton did have a good structure. I thought the Corey did well. He played a lot deeper. I thought he snuffed out a lot, and Idrissa Gana Gueye was excellent as always. And then we did look at danger, a threat on the break. And obviously when we took the lead, you're thinking, tell you what, could win this game, who knows? But what were you feeling like in the ground when that's gone in from Ghana?
No, it's a moment that took everyone by surprise, I think. It going in, and the players celebrated it brilliantly. Ghana really did celebrate it. He properly loved it. I love him to bits, Ghana, and I think he's one of those players that fans have always loved, but he doesn't obviously hold the same place as some, maybe obviously like a Seamus Coleman or someone. But maybe it's about time we did start appreciating him a little bit more. There's he's such an important player for us.
Key.
And obviously he's got 3 in the last 6, is it something like that? So it's just weird to see him taking a free kick, but I've always thought he was more of a player in there than he's actually showed for Everton. I always have.
He's a number 10 at Lille.
Yeah, I've always thought there's so much more of a technical player. Keeps the ball pretty well, and his pass selection is usually to go forward. And it was just great, and he really did love it, and it's fantastic that we've got him for another season. And at least at that point you're thinking, well, we've made a fist of it, and we've got a reward for actually trying to have a go at these. And that's all you can really ask for at times, isn't it, in games like that? Is you do feel rewarded, and you have proven to other people that we're not here to make up the numbers, we're actually going to have a goal today. And that was really good as well. So it was a good moment.
83% passing accuracy. We had 100% shot accuracy. One shot, one goal. Can't argue with that. He's been brilliant of late. But no, it was good to see. And then it was a case of like, can we get through it? And this was the disappointing thing for me, is that they scored a goal which was very much Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? It was like you said before, the ball inside Ashley Young and Branthwaite into that channel, cut back, Tomiyasu coming onto it, lashed it in, and we'd snuffed that out a few times, so it was a bit disappointing. Taki just doesn't get there, throws himself out and it goes to Seamus Coleman's legs, and it's in the corner. And I get, listen, I might be being overcritical there, it might have been really well worked by them, but when you know that that's their threat and you can't stop it, it's a little bit frustrating. It was a good finish from Tomiyasu. And then it's like, right, are they going to take over? And again, they didn't. Yes, we needed to defend properly, because, like I said before, they're a top side. You know, they play it and they got great footballers, but people like Odegaard, who I love, I thought we kept him relatively quiet. You know, no, if they'd have had Saka, Bukayo Saka, it might have been a little bit of a different story. There'd have been more threat. But in general, certainly up at half time at 1-1, you're like, you know what, we've done well there. Got in at half time, it's 1-1. We've done quite well. Can we keep it going in the second half?
Yeah, again, it's that thing of, you know, as I said before, when they scored, and obviously the news filtered through that West Ham had just scored, the whole place lifted. But obviously with half time coming, it went down again, and it needed to be, I suppose, for them, both of those things almost needed to happen at the beginning of the second half, so it could carry on for the whole half, rather than getting into that time. And again, we came on for the second half, and even though we had less of a threat in the second half, we never really pushed on too much. Again, what I was saying before about we kept the ball really well, that allowed us to break. That never happened in the second half. It broke down generally either just in our half or just into their half. We never got into the final third in the apart from the one where Dom curled it in and the keeper saved it. We made a bit of a pantomime save, didn't he, in the end? But we never really did that, did we? And I just thought you could see the tiredness, and also just like, it is the last game of the season. It is again, you'd say this all the time, it does mean loads to one side, and they're at home, and they are also a fantastic side, by the way. So to keep them at bay, and listen, we rode our luck at times, a couple of times hitting the bar and stuff like that, but and also a brilliant save from Pickford come Branthwaite. We did ride our luck, but at the same time, we stuck in there for as long as we could, and again, it shows the mentality. And there's not much on the bench. And when it was hot down there. The cloud did come and cover it at times, but when it was hot, it was really, really hot. And we managed to just at times calm it down really well. And sadly, we just couldn't get through to the very end.
We had 2 or 3 breaks in the second half where, again, the one just holding on to the ball. There was one where McNeil just held on to it too long instead of just threading it through. We had one later on with Schmitty when he came on. It was 4-on-2. If he just let the ball go, we were in on goal, and that was at 1-1. And he took too long on it. And but Dom, you mentioned Dom there. I thought he had a good game. He was a threat. We did play slightly differently. Decore was deeper. He wasn't up alongside them, which we've seen of late. He was having to do different role, and that's right. You've got to do that when you're up against the top side. But the one where he curled it, Dom, and he picked it up wide and cut in. You know, as he hit it, I thought it could go in because it looked good, but it obviously Raya ends up catching it, dive, and makes a good save. But that's what you want to see more from Dominic Calvert-Lewin if he's got that in his locker. Cut in and have shots, then it can't all be. I know he's good at killing it and laying it off, and that's what you want as a centre forward, hold the ball up. But when the option's there to run, cut in and have a shot, then he's got to take it. And I think that's shown more over the last few weeks, the confidence he's got back in his body. And, you know, he's up against two really good centre-backs in Gabriel and Saliba.
Well, when you think about it, last season he finished, his last away game was at Wolves and he finishes on the floor injured. Yeah. You know, he misses the last game and then it's, will he get back? And he didn't get back. He didn't get back till you know, after the first international break. Whereas this season...
Well, he come back the second game and then got injured again.
That's what I'm saying. He never got back properly.
No.
Whereas this season he's finishing really, really strong and he'll know his body now and you see him, he's confident. He's looked great in the last month. He looks really confident. No issues. I mean, my only issue yesterday was that we took him off. If I have one little niggly criticism of Sean Dyche is the amount of times he takes him off when I just think it's utterly needless. It almost feels like, listen, they might have all the data, don't get me wrong.
Probably have.
They'll have all the data suggesting this and that. But the amount of times we've took him off and it just seems so strange. He seems struggling. And I thought yesterday was one of those where I was just like, why are we taking him off? He is our out ball. And he's actually occupying these two really good centre-halves. And what he's saying to them is, you can't go full in. You can't just come in and sit in our half and bombard us, because he was manipulating the ball really well. And then McNeil would join in and then and it was working, and I just couldn't for the life of me understand why we took him off, because when you have a centre forward that carries some sort of threat, and as you said, that one in the second half was getting it out, picking it up and having a little run with it, and I didn't get that at all. And when Chimiti came on, we literally just gave them an invitation to live in our half. Yeah. And it felt really inevitable, because as you said, Chimiti was just running down blind alleys and he's far from the final product. He's nowhere near the final product. And it's very interesting that the manager has been giving him chances over Beto. That, you know, that's very, very interesting, isn't it? It would suggest that Beto could find himself not playing for Everton next season if an offer came in for him. But I just felt like at that moment when we took him off, we'd give up. Not we give up. I mean, give up any hope of winning. You can't look at it like that. If they have to take him off, they have to take him off. But I thought Dom had a good game.
Yeah. I mean, let's have a look at his numbers from the game. The 23 touches. He had 4 shots, 1 on target. Dribbles, completed 100% of his dribbles and won 50% of his duels. And there's his heat map there. And playing as a lone striker, we don't create loads of chances. That's something we've got to take on next season and move forward. But he did well. I mean, when Chimiti come on, like you say, it was a bit of a mad one to take Dom off. I'd have liked him to put Chimiti on deeper than Dom, you know, and maybe took the core off at that stage or whatever, if you want to freshen it up. And it is interesting that Chimiti's been the go-to now, and it isn't Beto. Yeah. I know Beto come on late on, but I don't understand. He's been coming on for like 2 minutes in games. I'm not sure why that's happened. Whether it's the manager just going, you know what, he's been a big part all season, Chimiti, I'm going to try and give him 10 minutes here and there, but then we're still trying to develop Beto, surely, and he's not. But anyway, there was 2 opportunities in the game, and it did show me that again he's got a way to go. And there was one where we break, and he's got the whole pitch to run into, and he turns back into Saliba, I think it is, and it's like, attack the space. Yeah. He was running towards the edge of their box. It's like, attack where there's a load of grass, mate. Don't run to where. And he was trying to come back inside onto his right foot. And then the one where we broke, still at 1-1, and it would have been 4v2. We nicked the ball and go, and he's running. And if he just toe pokes it forward, we've got James Garner steaming in, and we have McNeil and someone else, might have been Decore. Would have been 4-on-2 at that stage, because obviously they were committing, trying to get the winner, and we nicked it. And it was just those decision making. I think that's what the manager was talking about after the game. But we get through to sort of like the 89th minute, and we'd kind of quelled there. You know, we'd had Pickford at that to make a really good stop, and Onana blocked the second follow up, and then they did the bar. I think Emile Smith-Rowe hit the crossbar into the floor, and they had slowed down, and the game had slowed down, and we had a little bit of possession. When the ball's knocked back to Ashley Young, I'm thinking just drop it into the corner, because we'd had players making forward run, and Chimiti does that thing, drop it into the corner, keep our shape. Yeah. he hesitates, and then he plays a pass that, I'll be honest, if our kids' team played one of them passes, I'd be fuming. Why are you playing across the pitch where the danger is? And he just underhits it, and it gives Jesus the chance to handball it past Tarkowski, puts Taki in trouble. It's a handball. All day long, it's a handball. And he motions his arm towards it and knocks it into his path, which to me is just a crazy decision. They go on and score, but it's handball. It's handball in any. And what's mad is it ends up in the net and you're fuming. And then, obviously I'm watching on the telly there, so they're going, there's a VAR check. And I'm like thinking, was there offside? I was trying to think. And then they showed the replay, I'm like, oh, it's handball. I was like, you might still give it though, you know what they're like. No, he's being sent to the screen. And the people commentating, like, they'll be ruled out, it's handball. And he's being sent to the screen. And we know what happens when they go to the screen. And he's at the screen. And honestly, it showed it. It was showing what he was showing. Yeah. And I was thinking on the second one, he can't knock this out now. And then the next minute, they moved the frames forward because they're looking for offside. I'm thinking, he can't have ignored the handball. And they do, and he ends up giving a goal. And I cannot understand. I mean, even what stock you place in Jason McAteer, like, but even him in the studio and being Sports was like, I don't understand that.
There's been like more emphasis on the fact that he didn't go with what the VAR as like that's a good reason to give it. Like, it's good that he stuck it to the man.
That's what McGallagher said.
It's like, it's crazy. It's like, it's a handball. It's a hand. Before they changed any of these rules, that's a handball. Yeah. He touches it with his arm. He pushes it into, doesn't matter.
Below the t-shirt line. Yeah. He motions towards the ball. Yeah. It's handball.
He pushes it. He sees Tarkowski coming over and pushes it forward. It's handball. I mean, going back to Ashley Young, ridiculous, because I was talking about this last night when I done my play ratings, and it was like, Seamus Coleman doesn't make, like, one of the things he does, he doesn't make risky passes. No. Keeps it simple. He understands he's getting on a bit, and he's like, if I play a ball in there, we're going to get, he keeps it simple. Ashley Young still does this thing where he still thinks he's 26 and he still thinks he can play all these amazing balls. And it's like, no, mate, you're 38. Keep it simple. Play it down the line. Play the basic ball down the line. You don't play a ball like that anyway at any age. But play a ball down the line. It's the 90th minute. What was gutting was that there was only 5 minutes added on. Yeah. So it's like, it'd been like nine minutes or something, you'd be like, you'd still be worrying. But if it had been 1-1 with only 5 minutes on the board, I would have felt quite comfortable about this, because the whole thing was petering out, because they knew. No, it was. They knew. And it's like, we deserved a little bit more than that. I know it is the last day, but I'm still a supporter. I still don't want to see my team lose. It's just like so stupid. The two things, you make that one decision, and all you need to do is just play it down the line and tell your centre forward, whoever to chase after it. And it's just like, play it forward, not backwards.
It's just
stupid.
Terrible choice of a pass by an experienced pro who's won trophies.
We've had an alright game as well.
We've done alright, and that's what I'm saying. To me, the sensible ball, the one you see him play a lot of the time, is it's just dink down the line and your forward spins in, and that's why it's frustrating. If Arsenal would have scored a great, and they had moments where they played great moves, if they'd have scored a great goal, you'd have gone, they're a top side, but to give them a goal like that, and again, I said this, and it is a bit contradictory. Overall, I couldn't sit here and go, Everton deserved to, or they didn't deserve to win. Look at the stats and stuff, they were the better side. But Everton worked so hard, and we limited them as much as we could in a game that didn't mean anything to us. We almost deserved a point for it. It's frustrating when you gift a goal to a top side, and that's exactly what we did. But even with that ridiculous ball, it's still a terrible VAR decision. It's terrible. Yeah. It really is, because
When people say take VAR away, by the way, I mean, you're still stuck with these clowns, aren't you?
Well, this is what I mean. Use them too often on this programme, but Jurgen Klopp said last week, it's get rid of it because these people can't use it right. And the irony of the goal still would have stuck, because Michael Oliver gave the goal at the time, wouldn't have made any difference. But I just think if Jesus had controlled it the way he did and shielded different Tarkowski and spun and laid it wide, and he'd have gone for, you know, you might have an... But the fact that he motions towards it and knocks it ahead of both of them and he can run in on goal, I don't understand how that's allowed. I really don't. When you see other things dragged back, well, you touched him 40 seconds ago and it's you know what I mean? It was a terrible decision. It really was. But, you know, it is what it is. And Arsenal won the game and finished runners up. But for Everton... From an Everton perspective, it's disappointing because we'd have finished since that Chelsea game. We'd have gone half a dozen games unbeaten till the end of the season. And listen, a goal might have been disallowed and he might have scored in the 94th. You can't say it, but that was a frustration for me. But I think one positive to take from that, and it's been the reaction of the manager and the coaching staff and the players from that Chelsea game, which was dreadful and the biggest red flag ever. That game, that you are in big trouble.
Ironically, we weren't.
And we weren't, ironically, because no one else won. And I did say that none of the 3 promoted teams would get 30 points this season, and it was correct. But that could have played out totally differently, of course, it could have. But they've really picked themselves up, and it bodes well that he has been able to instill that, you know, don't go to Arsenal, don't put your flip-flops on. We've seen Aston Villa bounce 5-0 yesterday at Palace, full flip-flops on because they've got into the Champions League. Everton didn't do that. Everton did stay in the game.
Although I would rather get beat 5-0 at the last day of the season.
And be in the Champions League. Oh, of course. Of course, goes without saying. But that, if you can take anything into next season, and again, it might be a bit of a false thing because we don't know what's going to happen this summer, but at least that is a positive, isn't it? That they have stuck together, certainly over the last half.
No, that's the mentality, isn't it? The mentality that seems to have been created. You know, never mind, I don't know, the individual brilliance of anyone. The strength of this team is its togetherness. It's the culture that has been created. It comes from the manager and the coaching staff. You can't fault them. You can't fault them at all on that. And it's building on top of that now, isn't it? And if, you know, we're all... Listen, we're looking at it right now. We're seeing all the negative things about what could happen from this season. But who's to say this isn't a transformative pre-season where sales are made, but another set of players or another group of players come in and really help boost this team, and we get you know, some good players where we need them more, and other players come in and slot straight in. Who knows? Yeah, you see it at other clubs. When
we're talking about a huge summer, and we've often said that out just from a transfer perspective, it is from a transfer window perspective, of course. We're talking it's a huge summer because of, like you said, there might be there will be sales, and Everton have to use whatever money they've got to recruit well in pace, see if we can get goals into the side. We may well be replacing a centre-back. We need another good one to go with Tarkowski if it is Branthwaite that goes. But not just that. It's a huge summer because of where the football club is, where the ownership is. We've seen it looks really unlikely that 777 are going to get it. Like, you know, you never ever say
like
never.
They're not getting it.
They're not getting it, but you
I've
never...
just said it.
Okay. So therefore, the next people who are off the block, we've got to hope have got good plans for Everton Football Club. But we need this ownership thing sorted, don't we? Because for us as a fan base, for the manager and the recruitment team, and for everyone at the club to go, there's a bit of stability coming, you know, and a game plan, and this is what we need to do, because we've spent the whole season with ownership up in the air, fighting points deductions. We've only got a small squad. The manager said yesterday again in the press conference, you know, we said we were down to the bare bones today, and it's been that we've only got bare bone or a threadbare squad anyway. So he's already saying, even when everyone's fit, we're not, you know, we haven't got, and we're going to lose players. So this summer, Everton probably need about 9 players just to get a squad capable of competing. I know that some of that'll be loans. I know some of it'll be frees. I know some of them will be players we buy. But we also are going to lose a couple of key ones. But all of that merged together does make it a big summer, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it has to start straight away, doesn't it, as well? It has to start literally straight away. And that's what makes it hard in the next couple of weeks with, we've, you know, 777 have got till the end of the month and all this. It's like, it has to start now. Players have got to be, there's got to be players who I suppose we already know if they're coming or not.
Yeah.
rather than and wait until June, July, because it's a big job. It really is a big job, and the manager deserves to know where it is, and also deserves like a little bit of time off as well to recharge his batteries to do it all again next season.
He said he's going to a few gigs.
Well, fair play
that's what he's got planned.
And then, you know, this is where Kevin Fell earns his money now.
Yeah, 100%.
This is his job now.
Got to try and get the manager and the coaching staff some tools, haven't you, to, you know, to go and have a better go at it next season. Do you think, when you look at the squad now, well, let's do the team. When you look at that team now, and you watched it yesterday, first hand, and there wasn't many who were missing you'd go, will he be in, was there? When you look at it, Mikalenko would have played had he been fit. And that's it. Yeah. Everybody else, with Jack Harrison, probably would have played had he been fit. But obviously, he's going back to Leeds. But when you look at that, obviously we're losing Dan Juma, we're losing Jack Harrison. The manager and Kevin Delwell have said we're talking to Leeds. They're seeing if there's a deal to be done. Possibly just another loan for 12 months for Harrison. But Dan Juma's going. Andre Gomez confirmed he's gone. And Danny Donaghy confirmed that as well over the weekend, that he's gone. Lonergan's gone. But he's gone.
Isn't it interesting that none of by the way, the players who got released, none of them were on the bench yesterday?
None of them went. They went there, didn't they? So, you know, Delhi, whatever, he's gone as well, it looks like. So, you're looking at Branthwaite and Tarkowski, and obviously there's a huge question. It's Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Onana as the names that keep getting bandied about of being sold. Jordan Pickford's been mentioned, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, if Everton couldn't possibly lose all four of them, sure.
They couldn't possibly, could they?
No, but it would.
No, I don't think so. I can't see that. I can't see that happening. Yeah. I think Jordan Pickford would be like the last, and that would have to be some kind of crazy scenario. Yeah. I think you'll be looking at Onana, Branthwaite, Dom, depending on his contract, and that has to be sorted, doesn't it?
Dom's a tougher one in a way, isn't it? Because the other two are attracting interest because they're doing so well. But they're both under contract. And Everton have got a modicum of control over those two. But Dom, we haven't really, because he's got 13 months left on his deal at Everton. He's finished the season really strongly. I don't think it's just a case of signing this contract, because for him, 26 and a half, is he looking and thinking, go and try something else now? Or
you're tied in, aren't you? I mean, you're not, but you sign that. I mean, ultimately, you're not, though, I suppose. If he signs a new contract now and says to Everton, I am committed, and then Everton next season needs to sell one, then they've got him under contract to sell, at least. So it's a case of, for him, the ideal situation would be he signs a contract. Then we don't have to worry about that situation.
We know where we are. Then.
We know where we are. We're not being forced to sell him because he hasn't signed the contract.
Yeah.
Will that happen? Who knows? Does he owe it to us? No, I don't think anyone owes anybody anything. They play, they get paid, they try and do the best on the pitch. Is it his fault he missed a couple of years? No, not really, no. Because of his injuries, it's not really his fault.
Well, if Everton sold him, Everton got 15, 17, 18 million for him. We bought him for £1 million. So we've had him for 7, 8 years and we sell him for 16, 17 million pound profit. Yeah. That's the way it is, isn't it? I mean, we'd like him to stay.
Well, look, we got a Wobie, 20 million for a Wobie.
Yeah.
So you're looking around that, aren't you? You're looking around that.
Good age, isn't he? And
for us, we'd be looking at it going, £1 million. What are we going to do with that? And that's the issue then, isn't it? But
is there anyone else you've got a question mark over who could go, really?
There's no one, is there?
No, I'm just asking.
Generally, there's no one, because everyone's got decent contract length, and I can't really see too many more of our players attracting the attention of anyone. They're not good enough individually. Collectively, maybe,
done all right,
but individually, they're not. None of them are good enough. Could see Beto going just because it might make sense. If a big came in for him, that would make sense.
Because there's been rumblings of that from his agent, hasn't there, really? Putting it out there that he's not happy because he wants to play.
Barely played football.
Yeah, he'll want to play.
Barely played football, and he's at a very similar stage in his career where he'll just want to play football. Yeah, get all the money and everything, but get money everywhere you go. Yeah, he'll just want to play. He could attract the attention. I heard a rumour that. Well, I heard a rumour. There's a rumour that both Milan clubs are interested in him. Because he scored goals in Italy, and he's come to the Premier League.
He's a handful, isn't he?
And they'll go and they'll take a chance on him. Now, how much they'd be prepared to pay for him is a different question, but depends what we're liable for. With using AC,
we'll be liable for the.
No, I mean, who knows what's in. No, what these. I mean, the contracts Everton work out. Who knows what they're liable for? But I think if Everton were to lose like 10 million quid on a player for a year, that'd be terrible business. Absolutely terrible. And you mightn't want to sell him just for that reason. Yeah. Because you don't want to lose money on him.
You can't lose money and you'd need to replace him. Yeah. Everton couldn't go with, say he did go, Everton couldn't just go with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Schmidt either. No. If Dom stayed, that's so. Everton couldn't just go with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Schmidt.
And
Well, he's another one, isn't he? When you look at that squad, I mean, Everton regardless, we'll wrap this up now, but Everton regardless are losing Andre Gomes, Dan Juma, Jack Harrison. Yeah. 3 straight off there, straight out, aren't they? So they'd need replacing. The manager's already saying.
Holgate, Keane.
Yeah, Holgate and Keane could probably go, but the manager's already saying the squad's too thin, and yet three are definitely gone. Monaghan, if you want to include him. There's 4 out the door immediately that are just in the squad now. So you need to, we need to replace that. Great that Idrissa's staying, of course, and there was question marks over the core and question marks over a couple of others. But you need at least 4 to put the squad back to where it was. And the manager said the squad's too thin. So you're talking 6, 7 if others go. So it is going to be a really tricky summer. And I think Sean Dyche again alluded to this in his press conference yesterday. But let's have a look at Idrissa Gana Gueye, because I've just mentioned he's staying. Thank God. These are his stats from yesterday. 54 touches in the game, 1 goal. 2 key passes, 3 interceptions, and won 2 out of 4 of his duels, and 83% passing accuracy as well. Yesterday was everywhere, as you can see there with his heat map. And just very quickly, Ped, it was vital he stayed, wasn't it?
Massively important. He's massively important. He's a leader in the team. He's a leader.
Still our best midfielder.
Yeah. Leader off the pitch. Vitally important to us.
Let's have a look at the match stats from yesterday as well. Arsenal 2, Everton 1. 26 attempts at goal for the Gunners, 5 for Everton. Just 5 on target though for Arsenal. 2 for the Toffees. Arsenal's XG includes their 2 goals, of course. 3.01. Everton's 0.61. And look at that, 31% possession at the Emirates against a possession-based team.
Little bit below the sweet spot.
And it is, but
that's why we lost.
Slightly higher than what I would have expected to go against a team who was so possession-based. There you go. And a shout out for Mikel Arteta, who said he was an Everton supporter. And he thanked Sean Dyche for keeping the Toffees in the Premier League. So it's right, Mikel. All the best for moving forward. That is it from us, unless you're a Toffee TV Premier member, because we're going live on there straight from this. But if you're not, the link is in the description if you want to become one. Otherwise, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching. See you later.